We're gonna watch Infamous Children of the Most Dangerous Drug Lords now, okay? Finally, back to fucking Fun Reacts. Let's do it.
Smuggling drugs has been a huge problem around the world for
I gotta
a
pee
very
real
long
quick.
time now, and there have been several cartels and criminal
be back in 1
organizations that
second.
have risen to take advantage of this problem. At the top of the most powerful cartels are the incredibly wealthy and powerful drug kingpins that run them. Despite the tremendous amount of cruelty it takes to become one of these kingpins, they are in fact still human. They tend to get married, have kids, or have kids with their mistresses. So, we're going to look at the lives of these children born from infamous drug lords like El Chapo, El Mayo, and Pablo Escobar. We'll see if they're just as infamous as their violent parents, and if the apple does in fact not fall very far from the tree. Jesus Alfredo Guzman. First off, we have one of the many children of El Chapo. Jesus has been added to the list of the 10 most wanted fugitives sought by the US Drug Enforcement Administration. Jesus Guzman, also known as Alfredillo, is quite the wanted man. He's wanted in Chicago on federal drug conspiracy distribution charges, and in 2015, he was indicted in Illinois along with his father and other alleged leaders of the Sinaloa drug cartel. Jesus is a high-ranking member of the Sinaloa cartel, along with his brother, Ivan Arquivaldo Guzman Salazar. They provided significant support in the running of their father's cartel, including coordinating the transport of narcotics from Central and South America to Mexico, transporting narcotics into the United States, and distribution of drugs in wholesale. His criminal activities aren't just restricted to moving drugs. In order to protect their business, they've had to obtain guns and other weapons, bribe corrupt public officials, and engage in violent acts like
I wonder where the guns are coming from in countries like that where they don't have manufacturing or even gun stores and mostly just have like really, really crazy gun laws, as a matter of fact. You know, that's always another funny fucking... It's America. The answer is America. But that's always a funny fucking take. They do the Chicago take, but for Mexico all the time. They do the Chicago take, but for Mexico, they're like, oh, Mexico's got hella gun violence, dude, but their fucking gun laws are super strict. It's like, yeah, bitch, they're under America. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Wait, of course. That's what happens. America is such a fucking dangerous cancer to the planet that, like, you know, pretty fucking hard to have any respectable law that you can fucking advocate for and regulate when you're right there.
And intimidation. After the arrest and subsequent extradition of his father, Jesus would go on to increase his power in the Sinaloa cartel, expanding their enterprise with sophisticated laboratories and bigger transportation operations. The United States Department of State is offering a reward of up to $5 million for information leading to the arrest of Jesus Alfredo Guzman Salazar. Needless to say, he's as infamous as they come. Serafin Zambada. Serafin Zambada is one of the sons of Ishmael Almayo Zambada, the current leader of the Sinaloa cartel, the man who took control of the cartel after the arrest and extradition of El Chapo. El Mayo is himself quite the dangerous and notorious man, having been featured on America's Most Wanted with a $5 million bounty on his head for his capture, and his son, Serafin, didn't stray very far from his father's path, participating in the vicious lifestyle of running a cartel. Naturally, being the son of the current leader of the Sinaloa cartel, Serafin has a lot of power and wealth, both of which he's accumulated through his fair share of criminal acts. Unfortunately for him, his power and money wasn't enough to prevent his capture and extradition to the United States. His arrest came in November 2013 when he was picked up on a warrant as he crossed the border into Arizona. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to import more than 100 kilograms of cocaine and more than 1,000 kilograms of marijuana to the United States, and agreed to forfeit $250,000 in drug profits. In letters to the court, Serafin expressed remorse. He had this to say: "In this drug business, one hurts a lot of people, and I, Your Honor, regret having been the cause of causing so much damage to many people with the drug business. I have learned here in this place that drugs destroy many lives." He was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison. Ivan Arquivaldo Guzman. Next, we have another of El Chapo's many children, because unfortunately, the apple didn't fall very far from the tree this time. Ivan Guzman Salazar is also a high-ranking member of the Sinaloa cartel, along with his brother Jesus. They've been instrumental in running the cartel since the arrest and extradition of their father. Together, they've successfully been transporting narcotics through Central and South America to the United States, collecting the proceeds from customers in the US to be transferred back to Mexico for the benefit of the Sinaloa cartel. Their violent trade in narcotics has seen the use of some deadly means and some deadlier weapons. none are safe from the violence of the Sinaloa cartel, be it rival drug traffickers, members of their own organization, or law enforcement. In 2019, Ivan would lead a dramatic rescue of one of his brothers from security forces. His younger brother,
This was fucking insane. Do you guys remember watching this? This shit was wild, bro.
Ovidio Guzman, was briefly captured by Mexican security forces in an upscale neighborhood of Culiacan. That is, until hundreds of heavily armed Sinaloa cartel gunmen descended on them, forcing his release. It's no doubt that Ivan, like his many siblings, is incredibly dangerous, prompting the United States Department of State to offer a $5 million reward for information leading to his capture, much like his brother Jesus. Vicente Zambada Niebla. Next, we have the eldest son of Ishmael Almayo Zambada. Once considered Almayo's heir apparent, Vicente was groomed into his father's drug empire from an early age. He spent many years acting on his father's behalf, coordinating drug shipments. Vicente had a very different childhood from his father growing up, never experiencing the depth of poverty Almayo had faced in his youth, living a life more akin to a high society playboy than a cartel boss. By the early 2000s, he had become a top leader in the cartel, coordinating drug shipments from South America to North America. However, his growing career as a narco prince—
That was a DA-led operation without AMLO's approval as confirmed by Bill Barr? Wait, really?
came to a screeching halt when Mexican police arrested him in 2009. Vicente Zambada would eventually plead guilty to a whole slew of drug—
Wait, did you just say, why do our special forces and military don't back up the clearly struggling Mexican military instead of blowing shit up in the Middle East? First of all, if you cut the head off of a snake, another one is going to appear regardless. If you don't tackle the underlying systemic issues, then it's not going to happen. If America truly wanted to eviscerate the black market of drugs and the incredible amount of power that these cartels hold in this narco state in Mexico, they would legalize drugs or at least decriminalize drugs. That's one. And they would also do something about gun trafficking, because the narcos operate as these like basically nation states with their own individual militaries, and they fund themselves through the narcotics trade, and they get weapons from America by selling drugs to America, to Americans.
Drug trafficking charges. And
also, there is at least some evidence that at least the Sinaloa cartel and some of these other cartels were originally operating exactly like JSOC, which, you know, does exactly what Sinaloa cartel does, but in like places like Afghanistan, through the Navy SEALs and numerous other forms of American imperialist organizations. So the was it the Los Zetas? Yeah. So there is at least, not Sinaloa, sorry. There is some evidence that that the Mexican criminal syndicate was actually trained by the United States. They learned their special forces techniques at Fort Bragg before waging a campaign of carnage. The Los Zetas did. Here it is. Judge grants Barr's request to drop case against ex-Mexican official accused of cartel crimes. Like, so there is a lot of... Yeah, they were a special police force in the 90s. They got training from America's special forces. You speak Spanish, mi amigo? No. And yeah, that's it. I mean, there's at least some connection to being from Mexico. These motherfuckers hold so much power and fear over basic common folks is actually scary. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to say is there is more connections than you would assume or expect between Mexican cartels and the American government. But yeah, probably more than 500 GAFE personnel received special forces training. The Zetas came to the attention of the Mexico Attorney General's office in 1999. After U.S. training, GAFE operatives defected from the Mexican military to become hired guns, providing security to the Gulf Cartel, a well-established trafficking organization, according to Laura Carlson, director of the Americas program of the International Relations Center. And they formed their own cartel. The Zetas' alleged current leaders, Heriberto Lascano, known as Z3, and Miguel Trevino, known as Z40, were first recruited by Osiel Cardenas, the now jailed leader of the Gulf Cartel. The name Zetas originates from the radio code Z used by top military commanders in Mexico. So, bro, if you ever stop streaming, you should become a college history professor. I guarantee people will pay attention to what you say, given how you present everything. No. Remember when cartels were handing out care packages to people during peak COVID? Yeah, I mean, they are the governments of you know, the little areas that they control.
To having ordered the murders and kidnappings of people that had wronged his father or his allies. He would beg for forgiveness in a Chicago federal court for the harm he had caused during his years as a high-ranking drug trafficker, pledging to lead a moral life upon his release. Vicente would cooperate extensively with prosecutors, providing information about dozens of top drug traffickers, including testifying against El Chapo. In the end, Vicente would...
Dude, I don't care that Bernie is streaming on Twitch, man. I don't care. I don't know why. Like, he does it all the time. Every time Bernie Sanders goes live on Twitch, this community fucking freaks out. Do you want me to stop in the middle of a fucking Sunday to go watch Bernie Sanders? What the fuck, bro? It is literally not even an OG broadcast. It's probably a rebroadcast of the earlier fucking stream that he did. Like, why? Why do you always do this? Why do you always do this every fucking time, dude? Kinda, yeah? Okay, well then fuck off and go watch it yourself. It's so weird. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why you're like this.
Would be sentenced to 15 years in prison for his crimes. And as part of the plea agreement, he would agree to forfeit more than $1 billion to make restitution for his nearly 2 decades in the highly destructive
Even if it
trade.
wasn't a rebroadcast, like, I don't know why you want me to go and watch Bernie Sanders in the middle of my fucking stream.
Sebastián Marroquín, born Juan Pablo Escobar. Sebastián is the son of the infamous drug lord Pablo Escobar, the narco-terrorist once ranked as the 7th richest person in the world. Sebastián, his mother, and his sister would all change their names and move to Argentina after Pablo Escobar's death. After going from a life of extreme wealth to barely being middle class, Sebastián and his family had to endure quite a few setbacks. He had to face being arrested for money laundering, blackmailing, and more than 9 kidnapping attempts, all for being the child of Pablo Escobar. Sebastián was once much more infamous than he is today, thanks to his close proximity to the Medellin cartel, and being the son of such a powerful and dangerous man. It certainly didn't help his reputation that after his father's death, he would swear to avenge him. Things have changed quite a lot since then. Sebastián is currently an architect, designer, lecturer, and author. He spends his time speaking out about his father's legacy in a very neutral manner, informing the public that despite the money, power, and charity, his father was quite an awful man, responsible for the death and devastation of thousands. He helped create a documentary called The Sins of My Father to really drive home the point that Pablo Escobar was not a man to be looked up to, and that he will not perpetuate the cycle of violence by avenging his father. Ovidio Guzman. Yet another of El Chapo's kids to make the list. Much like the rest of his brothers, Ovidio has himself quite the criminal streak. Ovidio is also a high-ranking member of the Sinaloa cartel, along with his brother Joaquin Guzman Lopez. They function in high-level command and control roles of their own drug trafficking organization, the Guzman Lopez Transnational Criminal Organization, all under the umbrella of the...
When you guys wanted me to watch this, I really thought that this was going to be like kind of showcasing their crazy lifestyles or some shit. You know what I mean? I'm a little disappointed that, like, I thought this was going to be like a Uday and Kusei style look into the wild lifestyles of the fucking children of cartel drug lords.
Sinaloa cartel. The brothers began their narcotic trafficking careers after the death of their brother, Edgar Guzman Lopez. Ovidio and Joaquin inherited a great deal of narcotics proceeds from him, after which they grew their illicit business into a proper transnational drug trade. Through the purchasing of marijuana in Mexico, cocaine in Colombia, and ephedrine from Argentina, Apart from moving large amounts of narcotics through multiple countries and continents, Ovidio commits several other crimes as well, like money laundering, murdering people, like informants, drug traffickers, and a popular Mexican singer who had refused to sing at his wedding, making him one of the most wanted men in Mexico. Yet despite that, he's managed to evade capture for quite some time now. He likes to keep a low profile to avoid being captured, and so far, it's kept him out of prison. Although, he did almost get captured in 2019 until his brother Ivan swooped in to save his neck. Much like his brothers, Ovidio also has a bounty from the US Department of State, offering $5 million for information leading to his capture.
$5 million?
Guzman Jr. Named after his father, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Loera Jr. is quite a lot like his father, choosing to live a life on the other side of the law, becoming a high-ranking member of the Sinaloa cartel. Joaquin and his brother Ovidio have been running their own drug trafficking organization under the umbrella of the Sinaloa cartel, and they've been running it rather successfully. They aren't just smuggling large quantities of marijuana, cocaine, and ephedrine throughout South and Central America. They've diversified and now move large quantities of methamphetamine products as well. The Guzman Lopez brothers are currently overseeing approximately 11 methamphetamine labs in the state of Sinaloa in Mexico, producing an estimated 3,000 to 5,000 pounds of methamphetamine every month, which is then sold wholesale to other members of the cartel or to US and Canadian-based distributors. Pretty much all of El Chapo's sons are either under indictment or under investigation by federal agents, and Joaquin is no exception. He was indicted along with his brother Ovidio on April 2, 2018, and each charged with conspiring to distribute more than 5 kilograms of cocaine, 500 grams of methamphetamine, and 1,000 kilograms of marijuana. Being the incredibly wanted man that he is, Joaquin also joins his brother on the list of people wanted by the United States government, with a reward of up to $5 million on offer for information leading to his arrest. Alejandrina Giselle Guzman. Other than El Chapo's notorious sons, he raised a far less infamous daughter as well, and unlike most of her brothers who would follow in the footsteps of their father and continue to run the Sinaloa cartel, Alejandrina would follow a different path in life. Even though she isn't suspected of playing a part in running the family's drug empire, she's never been afraid to post pictures of her enjoying the good life her father's money and influence
Yeah, that's
got
what I'm
her,
talking about. Give us
displaying her
that.
extremely extravagant lifestyle on her social media. Among the extravagances she enjoys is her huge mansion that comes with a private zoo. She has her own set of stylish guns and other weaponry, and
Oh my god!
loves to dress in designer outfits. All things considered, she's a typical rich heiress, the only difference being the illicit source of her wealth. Even though, officially, she remains on the good side of the law, seemingly staying a good distance from the Sinaloa cartel, she was once arrested in 2012. Alejandrina had tried to enter the United States using fake documents and was caught by the police in San Diego. This wasn't the most serious crime, and she was released rather quickly. With her close ties to the
Interesting how the American government released the daughter of an infamous cartel boss. Because, you know, notoriously, the CBP is very quick to release, undocumented immigrants, Mexicans especially, coming over the border. Bro, she's single. Would you? No fucking shot. I'd get my dick chopped off, dude. Are you out of your mind?
The cartel, we can only hope that this is the only crime she's ever committed. Which one of these children do you think is the most infamous of them all? And does the apple really not fall far from the tree? If you like this video, then you're in luck, because I've got another one for you right here.